What's up, guys? It's your boy Matthew. This is Practice Squadron, and I wanted to talk about a trade that happened earlier today between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Atlanta Hawks, and just give you guys like a little breakdown of it and what my thoughts are and why it's weird, dumb, and I feel like there could have been more. Because I have been waiting for a trade for a while. The last trade we got was Jordan Clarkson to the Jazz, and that has been doing pretty well for them. But I just need more, and I don't want to wait for the trade deadline. And yeah, so let's break it down. So if you don't know, today the Minnesota Timberwolves traded Jeff Teague and Treveon Graham, and I'm gonna show their stats and whatever right here. They traded them to the Atlanta Hawks for Allen Crabbe. So just straight up, it's kind of weird because not that Allen Crabbe is like a great player or anything, but it's like a weird situation. I feel like if I would rather have Jeff Teague or Allen Crabbe, I'd probably rather have Jeff Teague. But I know that the Timberwolves are trying to use Wiggins more as like a point guard and things like that. So maybe that's why he got dealt. But just like looking at the stats, like Treveon Graham, he averaged about the same as Allen Crabbe. So it's like why would you trade him for Allen Crabbe? You know, that's what I'm saying. And Allen Crabbe has only started one game this year, while Treveon Graham has started 20. So it's like if this dude is getting like, I guess that's probably why they traded him, but they both have the same amount of minutes and everything. So I feel like Allen Crabbe for Treveon Graham is about the same. So it's like, why did you have to throw in Jeff Teague? You know what I'm saying? So I guess for the Hawks, this does make it slightly... So I guess for the Hawks, it makes it slightly more fun. I imagine... like I said, Allen Crabbe wasn't like doing that much more impact for them. So to get Jeff Teague and Treveon Graham, like, it's a win for the Hawks. I would just say that. But as far as 2K goes, because this is how my mind always goes when I try to like imagine these players playing, I imagine me using them in 2K. I do kind of like a 3-guard set on 2K with the Hawks. Let's get Trae Young, Herter, and Jeff Teague. That's actually pretty interesting. DeAndre Hunter's actually been pretty good the last few games. Not that they're winning or anything, so good is kind of irrelevant. I want to see Cam Reddish kind of go to the bench and see what he can do on there, because man, he's okay. Cam Reddish isn't gonna like wow you this year. He only averages 8.2 points, even though he started most of the games. So yeah, I feel like just having that 3-guard set is pretty interesting, with Trae Young, Herter, and then Jeff Teague. Most likely Jeff Teague is going to come off the bench, but I do see them playing Jeff Teague and Trae Young together, just because both of them are shooters and both of them like can create space for one another. Here's the thing with Allen Crabbe, though, for me on the Timberwolves, and this is why it really doesn't make sense to me, because now the Timberwolves are just loaded with forwards, right? So, I guess that's what they're going to do. They're going to load them with wings, and it's not like Allen Crabbe can't shoot, because he can. His averages for the year is 32%. So, that's not awful. That's all right. But I don't see Allen Crabbe even in the starting lineup. He's coming off the bench for sure. And, I guess maybe defensively, but it's also like the Timberwolves aren't making the playoffs this year. So I can kind of see it in that sense of like, hey, we're not going to make the playoffs. Let's trade Jeff Teague. All these players are on expiring contracts anyways. So it's not like it's going to hurt them in the long run just getting Allen Crabbe. But I just can't sit here and think Jeff Teague has to be worth at least like a 2nd-round pick in my eyes, right? At least. No way is Jeff Teague getting a 1st-round pick, but like at least a 2nd-round pick. And when I think about it, I would rather have a second round pick than Allen Crabbe. Especially because it's like, if we're not going to make the playoffs this year and Allen Crabbe is on an expiring deal, if you really wanted him, you could just go after him in free agency, which doesn't really make sense to me of like why you would trade Jeff Teague for him right now. Because, I mean, they're not going to give him an extension or anything. But like I said, like Jeff Teague has to be worth like a second round pick. You know, some teams, and I'm not even going to like trade machine this just on the top of my head, who I think need like a backup point guard. I'd probably say the Lakers need one. I'd probably say the Pacers could probably use one. Okay, so I'm just like scrolling through the teams and I can name literally every team that could use a point guard right now. Let's go Golden State Warriors. I guess the Timberwolves don't need a point guard. The Suns could have used Jeff Teague. That's how I would just say that. The Grizzlies could have used him. The Thunder, low-key, could have been pretty spicy. You know, just him coming off the bench. That would have been pretty interesting. The Mavericks could have used him. Let's see. Not really the Jazz. The Lakers. I mean, the Lakers are out here trying to get pieces. You're telling me Jeff Teague isn't one of them? You know, not that they have the trade pieces to trade for him anyways, but it's like, they traded Allen Crabbe for him. So it's like, why? The Knicks, not that the Knicks are good or anything, but, you know, I feel like Jeff Teague would have brought some stability there. The Cavs, they just got rid of Jordan Clarkson. You're telling me Jeff Teague couldn't have gone there? And that's what I'm saying. Like, all these teams, not that they need point guards or don't, but I feel like there has to be one of those teams I just listed that would have traded a second round pick for that. And at that rate, I would rather have a second round pick than Allen Crabbe. But what do I know, you know? What do I know? I think that it's weird because I don't think this affects the NBA at all as far as like wins or losses or like going to the playoffs or anything. The Hawks definitely aren't going to go to the playoffs this year. I don't think the Timberwolves are going to go. Let me look. What spot right now? Because I'm going to film this and then it's going to come out today. The Timberwolves, they are in the 12th spot. Okay, they're 4 games behind the Grizzlies as of right now from the 8th spot. Do I think they're going to catch up? No, because there are better teams out there like the Spurs, Trailblazers, like I said, the Grizzlies. I don't think the Phoenix Suns are going to make it this year, even though they got off to that hot start and then just like disappeared. But yeah, it's a weird thing because I don't know if they're still trying to trade Cat or not. And I think if they this doesn't help them in any way. So it's like if you keep losing, I feel like that is just going to lead to you trading Cat. And it's like, what is your team? It's like Andrew Wiggins and some under, like, not even that good wings, you know? That's what I'm thinking. And yeah, but as far as the Hawks, I think it just gives them some depth, maybe. Potentially, I think it also gives hope in the sense that, you know, Trae Young doesn't like that. There aren't a lot of valuable pieces around him. And not that Jeff Teague is the best, but it's like, hey, we're moving in that direction of, you know, we don't mind doing trades and we don't mind getting better players. Because Jeff Teague is the best player in this trade. So I think the Hawks definitely won, especially because they didn't have to give up pretty much anything for him. And they got Treveon Graham, who I don't know too much about him, but who's watching the Timberwolves this year anyways. But yeah, I think it could be good for the Hawks, you know, in the short term. Who knows if Jeff Teague is going to re-sign with them or anything like that, but for the Minnesota Timberwolves, why are you doing this? P.S. Who do you think won this trade? Let me know. Always like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff, guys. I'm gonna come out with more videos like this in the future. I think tonight, actually, I'm gonna watch that new Aaron Hernandez documentary and then give you my thoughts on that tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. That's why you guys have to subscribe. But I'll see you later.